The playground is a place where all the kids gather for recess. But have you noticed the patterns of the characters? All of them are the same age throughout the entire series. I will explain this to you. Third Street School was built after World War I. TJ was among the first students to attend. He was always proven to be a strong leader, running for 4th grade president in 1928, a year before the Great Depression began. However, the current principal at that time was making budget cuts on certain lunch items. Attempting to lead a revolt, TJ was hit by an ice cream truck during a student walkout in 1929. TJ's spirit still lives on through the playground, teaching kids how to stand up for their rights. Mikey soon transferred to the school after TJ's death, starting 1st grade in the 1929 to 1930 school year. Mikey was always hungry, demanding food. However, he was a kind, gentle person, causing no harm to the students around him. In 1931, he was diagnosed with diabetes type 1. Feeling depressed, he ate an insane amount of chocolate bars to cope with his disease. He went into a diabetic coma in 1932 and died at the age of 10. Mikey still walks the playground, fat as ever and hungry as ever. Spinelli began attending school in 1933, a year after Mikey's death. Always trying to act like the tough one, Spinelli would converse with the ghosts of TJ and Mikey and share with them her experiences. But Spinelli died in a fistfight in 1936 during her second repeat of the 4th grade year. She now hangs with the rest of the gang, acting as the group's bodyguard. Randall started the 3rd Street School in 1944. He dreamed of becoming a reporter. He often worked as the muckraker for the school principal. Despised by the gang, especially Spinelli, Randall one day caught a random bystander beating up a tiny 2nd grader in 1946 and told the principal. Furious, the bystander killed Randall with a gun on the school grounds. He was struck in the head and killed instantly. Randall is still known as the 3rd Street's best snitch. Gus began school in 1951. He was often quiet and kept to himself. He conversed with TJ, Spinelli, and Mikey a lot, as the ghosts of the playgrounds were his only friends. He was often the target of playground bullies. One fateful night in 1953, Gus was walking home from school, in tears, covered with dirt and blood. He was beaten up badly by the neighborhood bullies, and his parents had forgotten to pick him up. He collapsed on the pavement outside that day. His body was eventually discovered. He died at 10 years old. Gus is still viewed as the nerdy kid of the group, often keeping to himself and avoiding dirt and filth. When the Tylers began school in 1958, the Ashleys were already in school, living the dream as the top-notch fourth graders. Both groups were often despised of by the rest of the kids on the playground. One night, while the girls were having a sleepover, and the boys were having a gentleman's sleepover, both on the same night, a killer broke into the Armbruster mansion and murdered the Armbrusters, Quinlan children, Tomasia children, and the Boulette children. The killer was captured by the police in early 1959. The Ashleys and the Tylers still roam the playground, acting like the big top people on campus, as they were in life. Gretchen came to the 3rd Street School in 1962. She was shown as the intelligent one of the group, winning the science award every single year, until Becky Benson stole her project in 1965, making her win instead. Gretchen went home that day, and in a mad rampage, she committed suicide by gunshot to the head. Becky Benson soon followed her in death by taking her own life out of guilt. Gretchen is still the more intelligent of the ghosts in the group, and is even willing to tutor her friends when the time calls for it. The Diggers, Sam and Dave, attended 3rd Street School a while after Gretchen's death, beginning in 1968. Both boys were always interested in digging. In the summer of 1971, they were caved in while exploring an old coal mine. They never got out. Their bodies were found 2 weeks later. Now, they dig near the school playground, afraid that digging outside the school grounds will cause them to lose their lives in the afterlife. Vince, who was the last to join the main gang of the playground, attended school in 1978, just as the disco 70s were coming to a close. Vince worked on his basketball career, often dreaming of making the NBA, inspired by famous NBA characters of that time. But one day in 1982, he tripped and broke his ribs on impact. He died of internal bleeding in the hospital a few days later. Vince still plays a wide variety of sports in the afterlife. King Bob is still known as the king of the playground. After winning class president of 4th grade in 2001, King Bob was a fair ruler. But after going crazy with power, the 4th grade body led to a coup. King Bob was not allowed to run for president. But as a result, he murdered the entire student body over the course of 8 nights by breaking into each of their houses and stabbing them to death. This event became known as the 3rd Street Massacre. He was found guilty and sent to a juvenile detention center in the fall of 2002. He stayed incarcerated until he was killed by another prisoner in 2009 at the 5th Street Correctional Facility at age 20. In June 2010, a few days before what would have been everyone's last day of school, a carbon monoxide leak occurred at 3rd Street Elementary School, killing everyone inside, including all the teachers, the staff, and nearly every student. 596 people died. The school was shut down and deserted after this incident. The last class of 5th graders would have left on the 80th anniversary of TJ's death, if they would have survived. However, this event did not affect the school playground, nor its current residents. Classes are still in session every morning. The casualties of the carbon monoxide leak and the victims of the 3rd Street Massacre still attend every day, along with the rest of the spirits of the playground. The ghosts of the fallen children still frolic and play on the playground of the 3rd Street School, as if it was never shut down.